I already made one little video here today about something not Philippine related. I haven't been doing a lot of Philippine related stuff lately, but actually, well, I made a couple videos that I ended up not actually, putting up or anything. But just thinking about what it's like being married to a Filipina, and if you get the right one or if you get the wrong one. One of the interesting things, it's like with my wife, that we were talking about the other day. Like when she cooks and stuff, say she gets home from work earlier than I do, and she'll cook some dinner or whatever. And I know she's had like a long, hard day, and then she came home and cooked and everything. And I'll be, getting ready, trying to get cleaned up a little and stuff. And I'll tell her, no, you can go ahead and start eating whatever. And I get my food, I go in, and she's still sitting there messing around on her phone or whatever, waiting for me before she eats, And she told me one of her, her one uncle, where he works, he would go home for lunch every day, and his wife would not eat until he got home, and he would have to call her and tell her, look, I can't make it today, I'm going to be stuck here at the office. But that was how she was. She wasn't going to eat before her husband, And for me, I've always just, it's not that big a thing to me. When I see, even when you're over there with a bunch of people, have a big family gathering or whatever, when I would be over there before, when my wife and I, even before we were married, or when we, shortly after we got married, before she moved here, and, they all want to hear, no, you eat, they're always, no, you eat first. And for me, I always felt like, oh, it's ladies first, It's like whenever I used to go out, take my, when my brother's kids were little and stuff, take them out with us to eat, me and my mom sometimes. And that was, sometimes they had we'd go this little Pizza Hut buffet or whatever, this, out in Blackwell, Oklahoma, and always, man, you take care of the kids and everybody first. It's just the way I always thought it was supposed to be. It's kind of like the philosophy of feeding your pets and the children before the adults eat. You'll find some places where they all have to sit around and wait till the adults, but I much prefer the concept of the fact that little children and pets, when they're feeling hunger, all they know is that they're hungry and it hurts and they need food, and you should take care of them. The adults, they understand what's going on. They know that relief is coming as soon as they get the food ready and eat, and everything will be fine, Little kids, your animals, they're not like that. It's kind of like your obligation and responsibility to take care of them and feed them and, end their hunger pangs and suffering or whatever. But that's just one little facet, being married to someone from the Philippines. People talk about, traditional women and a traditional culture, and that's very true depending on who you find, but even if you find somebody who may not have all the other wonderful qualities you're looking for, and guys talk about finding women who are scammers and whatever, a lot of them, they still have that ingrained in them, that for whatever other faults they might have, you eat first. They're going to take care of you, they'll cook for you, and when it's time to eat, they're waiting on you, and you're just telling them, no, go ahead, and they're not going to do it. But I mentioned I had filmed, a couple of other videos, and that was one of the things that I was talking about in there was, how it can be heaven to find the right one and hell to find the wrong one. My wife and I, someone we know, My wife, of course, knows her more than I do, but even then I think it's just kind of a casual acquaintance thing, just meeting through other, Filipina gatherings and so forth. And she's friends with her on Facebook, I think. Saw some stuff where she's back over in the Philippines, or she was, I don't know, with some new guy, some Filipino guy. And apparently her American husband, I don't know, he's kind of fallen by the wayside. And we run into him sometimes, this one place where we go. Always talking to him about, hey, how's the wife and all that. Told my wife, now I'm hoping we don't see him anymore. It's going to be kind of awkward knowing what's going on, hey, how's things going with the wife and all that, because, he might not want to talk about that. And we probably don't want to hear the answer. But I've known some of the women over here, Filipinos, that my wife has, been involved with. I kind of pushed her when she first got over here. Look, didn't want her to just be her and me. Get involved with some other people, have a taste of home in the Philippines, people to speak your language and all that, and that you can talk about things with that you're all interested in and know about. And she kind of resisted that at first, but yeah, then after she did get involved with it for a while, some of the people that you get involved with, you kind of wish you hadn't, because some of these women, they're not the best. It's not a guarantee of finding, a wonderful woman just because they're from the Philippines. There are certain qualities that you will find in a lot of them, but it's just like anywhere else, it's, everyone from one place is not a certain way. And you get some of these women who, they're supposed to be married and out running around doing all kinds of crazy stuff, getting together with all their friends and going off to other cities, like Vegas or New York or wherever, and doing all kinds of stuff that they shouldn't be doing. Certainly a married woman shouldn't be acting like that. And just kind of, bringing dishonor on themselves and their husbands, their family, really. But that's what you get, you don't know. You don't know what you're getting until you find out, because you've got it. I got lucky, But that's just one thing that I find interesting. My wife always wants to wait to start eating until I start eating, so we're eating together. A lot of things about a woman from the Philippines, very sweet, and make your life very nice. Of course, here in another few weeks, like 3 weeks from now, my wife will be back in the Philippines with her family. I'm glad she finally gets to go back. It's been a long time now. Especially with, we didn't really have a chance to take a trip back over. When all this COVID stuff happened, it really messed things up for a while. And then my wife's been working, and finally now she has a chance to go. I'm going to stay home and take care of things here, watch the cats. Don't really feel like leaving our 3 little furry children with anybody else for that long a period of time. I had taken like 3 weeks off work, was going to go. Thought, man, we could go 3-4 weeks, but I can't afford to leave our apartment and cats and stuff alone for that long. Never know what's going to happen. But the main thing is that she gets to go back and hang out with her family, have a good long time to be there. I'm sure it's not going to seem like a long time once she's there, but she can see our new house that we built and everything, and take care of some stuff with that, be there for her mom's birthday. So I'm pretty happy for her, it's she's been here, this December will be 7 years, and that's a long time to be away from your mom. And like our 2 nieces that are living there with her mom, when she left to come over here, they were little girls, and now they're young women, in their teens. Lots changed, and she had to miss a lot of that, and she gave that up to come over here and be with me. So I'm just happy she gets to go back, and because there's no place like home, especially when you're that young. For me, as 61-year-old almost. I'll be 61 next month. I'm a year older than her mom. um, actually, I guess it's this month I'll be 61. It's already October. Yeah, her mom will be 60 next month. Yeah, this month, 61 years old, you know. But I've been long gone from where I grew up for a long time. Yeah, go back out Pennsylvania. It's a totally different place from where I was when I grew up. I mean, I know people, friends I have on Facebook and stuff that, you know, went to high school with. The one guy told me he still lives like a couple of blocks away from where he grew up. You know, some of these guys, they've been there. For me, man, I've been gone so many different places for so long, led like a dozen lives since then. It's just not the same, you know, and none of my family's around there anymore really now. So, you know, going home, you know, I mean, you know, if I could go back in time to the 60s and 70s, then it might seem familiar and be like home, but it's not home for me now, you know. You know, this right here in Florida right now is as close to home as what I've got. You know, I always loved Florida from the time I was a kid, but I've lived in so many other places that those were home for me too, you know. And soon, eventually, here before too long, the Philippines will be my home. But for me, I've spent so many years on my own and roaming around, nobody's company but my own, you know. And whoever hung out in all the sports bars or places where I used to go that called my social life, you know. For a Filipina, when you bring them over to the United States, you need to think about that. They're going to miss their family, you know. It's, you know, people say always, you know, how family oriented people are, and especially you come into this time of year, the Burr months leading up to Christmas, all the different activities and stuff that revolve around the family that they're taking part in. You know, they don't have that here. You find somebody who is willing to, you know, like in my case, move here to the United States to be with you. You know, the situation I was in when we met and got married, where I still had a lot of time left to work. I'll get out of this guy's way in case he wants to make some pictures over this direction, you know. But for them to give up all that and move away from their family to go to a totally different country, you know, that's a big thing. And it's especially a big thing for someone who's young and they've been around their family like that for their whole life. It's a big change. And I know my wife had some hard times when she first moved over here. It's not easy. So I'm really, really happy she gets to go home and enjoy being with her family. She's going to be over there for like 5 weeks, which is a long time, but I'm sure it's going to seem short to her when she looks back on it. It's like I used to tell her when I was getting ready to go on a trip over there. You know, you're counting down the days, you know, thinking, okay, yeah, 13 weeks, I'm going to be leaving on my trip. Then 12 weeks and 11. Next thing you know, you're down to the point where it's only going to be like 2 weeks. And then you're thinking, shit, man, 5-6 weeks from now, I'm going to be back home and going back to work, you know, after you spend all that time counting it down. Those weeks click by awful fast when you're actually over there. And then suddenly you're back. That's one thing I'm looking forward to someday is, you know, being able to go over there and there is no clock. There is no clock ticking where I have to get back to work again over here. It's all done. And I can just be there and really relax into the life there. That's the one thing I am looking forward to. In the meantime, I certainly am hoping that she's able to enjoy her time back over there. If you do bring someone over here from the Philippines, though, you always have to remember that that family connection is awesome. Fortunately, in our day, they can get on the computer, their phone, their iPad, whatever, and be talking face to face with somebody in real time, basically. It's not like the old days when you had to send a letter and wait for weeks or months for it to get there, you know, or talk on the phone, on a landline, and not be able to see anybody. So at least we do have that technology these days. So find yourself a good one. I hope any of you who are finding a Filipina, I hope you find a good one. I hope you have the good luck that I did, you know, because it'll make your life a lot better. My wife and I have been together, like I say, almost non-stop, you know, for like close to 7 years now. She went on a little road trip for a few days one time with one of her friends. And other than that, yeah, we've been together every day and night except when we were at work. So it's going to be interesting. I'll be missing her for sure, you know. But I have my little kitty cats to take care of. It's going to be fun for her though. And I'll be happy to see some in-person updates from her about our house and everything, and hear what things are like, because neither one of us has had the chance yet to see it in person. And I'm looking forward to that. Have a good one.